Let's go. Welcome back into the Squishy Sport Podcast and the Redzone Report for the Divisional weekend coming up. We literally have 7 more games of NFL football left for the season. I want to cry thinking about that. It has been such a good season. The season just flies by. It feels like the most cliche thing to say. However, on the brighter side, usually with the NFL season coming to a close, it definitely means the NRL season is coming around the corner. I will have so much NRL content coming for you this season. I cannot bloody wait. But before we get into NRL this season, we've got NFL to still finish off. So we've got the divisional weekend coming up. And we're coming off one of the best wildcard weekends I've ever seen just to watch as a fan of the game. It was absolutely unbelievable what we saw last weekend in those 6 games. 4 of them were absolute bangers. Absolute bangers. But I cannot wait to bring you the divisional games, the 4 divisional games. We've got the Broncos and the Bills. We've got the Niners and the Seahawks. We have got the Texans and the Patriots. And we've got the Rams and the Bears. I've got a few best bets in them. I'm going to have player props for every single game as well. Of course, my multi for the week. And then finish it off with our first touchdown Hail Mary for the week as well. Before we get into it, make sure you smash the like button on this video if you like the content and you like what you're seeing. Give the new channel a massive subscribe as well. Make sure if you're an NRL fan, go and check out all my team previews I am bringing out at the moment. I will be bringing out some Supercoach content pretty bloody soon, just in the works of how to do it, and some more other content as well. But for the playoffs, I did this last week. I covered every single game of the playoffs, what I think of this game, if I'm going to have a lean or no lean. But just to give you a bit of a breakdown of what I'm thinking of the game, I'm going to do the same for all 4 games this weekend coming in the divisional. Then we're going to have a look at player props. As I said, I have 4 player props, 1 in every single game for you this week. And then our multis for the week to finish off. Let's have a look at last week, though. And, sheesh. Honestly, I feel like I know I'm not the only one that was in this position, but if you bet any other bookie apart from Bet365, you'll be looking 0-3 on best bets. I put my hand up, just didn't quite read the card right, and honestly, messaged a few of the boys my leans at the start of the week, and I had Texans in there, I had Panthers in there, I had like San Fran in there, ended up switching to team total under. Just a whole bunch of things there. And if you bet on Bet365, you actually would have got Packers money line early payout there. They go up 17, you get paid out. So on my side, I went 1-2, but I'm just going to put 0-3 there for the record. Player props wise, continue to be friendly with us. We went 4-1 on the player props. We were 3 yards away from Christian Watson overs on his longest reception there from a sweep. But very much reading the props, very good. Literally in the last 12 weeks of the season so far, we're clipping at 68%. That is 50-23 that we are on at the moment. As I said, I've got 4 more for you this week. It's going to be so sad to see the player props go. They've been so bloody good to us this season. But nevertheless, let's get stuck into it. Our first game of the divisional Sunday morning here. What is it? So 7:30 our time, I believe. That is the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos. Very interesting matchup here. Literally, quite honestly, pick the winner of the game. Denver are -1 point favorite. They're slight favorites. Total of 46. However, this game has flipped in the last couple of days. Denver opened dogs in this game with a total of 46.5. The big flip in the game generally tells you all that you need to know, I think. I'm not on anything in this game. Honestly, I have a little bit of a lean to Buffalo here. Why do I have a lean to Buffalo? I don't have analytics or statistics right in front of me here. It just kind of feels like it's Buffalo's year, and if they're not going to do it this year, when are they actually going to do it with Josh Allen? Josh Allen, spoke about it last week. There's no Lamar Jackson. There's no Patrick Mahomes. There's no Joe Burrow in these playoffs. He had to come up against Trevor Lawrence, who looked pretty ordinary last week, I thought. Now he comes up against Bo Nix, who is definitely not a top 10 quarterback in the league for me. And then next week, if like either one, you coming up against Drake May, who's going to be second favorite in MVP at the moment, or CJ Stroud, who has not been a top 10 quarterback. It all depends on Josh Allen, though. That's the big thing. You can't rely on this Bills defense. However, you look at this Denver side, and they're coming off a week off, so it'll be nice and fresh. It's a huge game for them, right? I haven't really been a Bo Nix believer all season. And this Denver defense has won a lot of close games. You look at other teams that have gone from 1 year winning a lot of close games to the next. Some of them involves obviously good coaching and good quarterback play down the stretch, but they're only a few field goals away either side from not getting that number 1 seed. The Denver defense is awesome though. You've got a better offense with the Bills. You've got a better defense with Denver. Usually in the playoffs, you see better defense will win championships in this sort of thing. I did say last week the Jags defense was better. I thought their offense was better as well. It honestly took a superhuman effort from Josh Allen last week to win that game for the Bills. Down a couple of times in the last quarter there, and he pushed through. Was really good to see, honestly. Sort of, I guess, first road playoff win he's ever had, I believe, in his career now. He's 1-8, I think, on the road now in playoff games. Maybe that's Sean McDermott's record. I'll have to actually check. I really don't know which way it looks like obviously this public will be on Buffalo in this game here. The Sharps are all over Denver. I can definitely make a case for both sides. In regards to the total, again, I just don't know, I guess the under makes sense in a way. Like, if Denver defense is going to be on, this will surely go under. Can you trust Denver to score a certain amount of points in the playoffs to keep this total going over? I think they'll probably start a little bit slow. But we're seeing second half of these playoff games, especially that Bills-Giants game, just absolutely explode. So it could be a bad beat, you feel like, on the over in this one here. I just honestly want to watch this game and just as a fan and just see, you got good offense against good defense, and then you've got, I would say, an average offense against an average defense. It's very interesting to see. Who do I trust more of the ball coming in the last quarter? 100% Josh Allen. 100%. Do I trust Bo Nix down 3 or down a touchdown and then, doing a 2-minute drill? Absolutely not. I'd rather Josh Allen have the ball in his hands there in that same situation. I really don't know. I can't actually confidently be saying who I lean in this game here. I've switched from Buffalo to Denver, Denver to Buffalo. My first instinct is Buffalo. I just only based off vibes, and I just think it potentially may be their year. At the moment, I actually think Rams beat Buffalo in the Super Bowl. But yeah, really no lean for me there. I think it's going to be an absolute cracker game, though. Honestly, it should be an absolute doozy of a game. I hope we get a good one. But yeah, does the better defense win or does the better offense win? Usually, better defense would win. All right, let's move on to this night game here on the Sunday here. We've got the Niners and Seattle Seahawks in a rematch. They played only literally 2 weeks ago in Week 18, and they also played in Week 1. It's a division matchup here. Seattle are huge favorites. They're 7.5-point favorites. Total of 45. This open Seattle 6.5. Total of about 46.5 here. The under has been slammed, and the Sharps are on Seattle here. Terrible spot for San Fran straight off the bat. They've gone to travel east last week, playing on Sunday in America. They're going to travel all the way back west. They would have gone back home briefly. Now they've got to travel up to Washington State. And now they only get a 6-day turnaround. Seattle's coming off a week off. It's a terrible spot for San Fran. It really is. However, playoffs do some funny things. I thought last week my lean was Eagles to pretty convincingly beat San Fran, and San Fran were easily the better team. The coaching was better. The offense looked better. The defense stood up when it needed to. Now they've got no George Kittle, who was a big loss. He got injured in the second quarter there last week. My big thing in this one here is it's not a matter of a fact of can San Fran put up enough points. It's more of a fact on the other side. Do I trust Sam Darnold in this game? We saw him play his first playoff game last year for the Vikings and absolutely stink it up against the Rams. I just feel like in a lot of high pressure situations we're seeing this season with Sam Darnold, we're seeing him kind of go down the toilet a little bit. He only put up 13 points in his last game against San Fran. In both matchups against San Fran this year, they've put up 13 points. They lost the first one 17-13, and they beat San Fran a couple weeks ago 13-3. We know the Seattle defense is elite. I'll say top 2 in the league, them and the Texans. San Fran defense is really going to have to stand up. However, can you trust Sam Darnold? Going back to my original point. I think you can to a T. Do I think there should be 7.5-point favorites? Man, it's a big number. It's a massive number. I get it. There's home field advantage in this sort of thing where Seattle there will have a massive home crowd here. But you look at this game 2 weeks ago, it was pretty much a pick 'em. Seattle like -1. That's a big drastic change. I'm not allowing 6.5 points, close to 7, for home field advantage going from San Francisco to Seattle. George Kittle hardly makes half a point difference to this line. Do I like the total in this game? I can agree with the under. I think Seattle's defense is pretty good. I think San Fran will probably struggle to move the ball here. I definitely lean San Fran in this game. I do have a best bet in this game, and it's going to be a Seattle team total. It's going to be under 27.5. We've seen under money for a reason. I'm not quite sure what the weather is looking in this game. I think the San Fran defense will have to stand up, knowing that if they're going to compete in this game, that the defense will have to stand up. The Seattle defense is elite. I think they will be able to stop San Fran. I want to take the +7.5. I just don't want to be in a situation where Seattle win a game like 13-3 again. Could be 19-10. Could be 21-10 for all I know. That Seattle would cover, but they'd still go under the team total. 28 points just seems like a massive, massive number. I don't think San Fran are going to lay down like that. They know what their opponent, they know the offense they're getting. And are you looking at the Seattle offense with Sam Darnold in a playoff game thinking that they'll score 28 plus, like 4 touchdowns? I'm just not quite seeing it. I can definitely see them, getting to 21 in the third quarter. And if they've got a big lead, putting that Q in the rack, I think they'll heavily run the ball, Seattle. Like heavily run the ball. I think they don't want to put too much pressure on Sam Darnold's hands and have him pass the ball. The big thing for Seattle is if they're behind in this game, they're going to have to put the ball in Darnold's hands, and that's probably not an ideal situation for them. They probably want to come out hot in this game. They've got to establish a running game. So does San Fran. Can you trust Brock Purdy in like a prime time? No, not really. I thought he was okay last week. I thought he just did the job that he needed to do. But you're looking at two different defenses from Seattle to Philly here. And I want to try and back the San Fran defense here to keep Seattle under that number there. As I said, Seattle can still cover this number, but they can still go under that. The under is being played for a reason. I just don't see Seattle scoring more than 27 in this game here. Seattle team total under 27.5 for me in this game here. First bet of the divisional matchup here. Weekend. All right, let's cross over to these last two games here. Monday morning, 6 a.m. here in Queensland. We've got the Patriots and the Texans. Texans coming off a brutal defensive win against the Steelers. Most likely Aaron Rodgers' last ever game in the NFL, and his last ever pass was a pick 6. You kind of hate to see it. This is a really interesting line in this one, and one I'm kind of struggling to get my head around in a way. Patriots are anywhere between a 3 and a 3.5 point favorite. Total of 41. This one open Patriots flat -3. Total of 41.5. This line last week against the Chargers for the Patriots is also 3.5. We are honestly a few cents away from Texans being the same price. We saw Texans play the Chargers, week 18? And Texans beat them pretty convincingly. I know it came down to that last bit, but Texans beat them pretty convincingly. Texans have a slightly better offensive line than the Chargers do. That Chargers O-line is disgusting. This defense, Texans defense compared to Chargers, is astronomically better, I think, in my opinion. I think this Texans defense is the best in the league. It is crazy good. Steelers did not score a touchdown last week, just literally kicked 2 field goals. And they just applied so much bloody pressure. 4 sacks on Aaron Rodgers. And what's to say they can't do the same against the Patriots here? I really like Texans +3. I'm not sure if it's a square dog. I just don't see how the Patriots are going to score enough points and the Texans don't. I honestly think Texans are a live dog here. I think they win this game. I think there's a lot of pressure on the Patriots at home. Drake May in his second playoff game. Was he good last week? I wouldn't say so. He did enough to get the job done. But, man, I think the Chargers, like with a lot of the fumbles that they had and this offensive line, they were never going to score that many points. They were just never going to score that enough points to compete with the Patriots. And the Patriots only put up 1 touchdown and 3 field goals. Let's say they do something similar this weekend against the Texans, a better defense. The Texans just have to score 13 points. 13 points to at least push in that game. I think they can score at least 13, 100%. You got to think they're going to get an interception. They'll probably get a fumble as well. The main thing for the Patriots is to not turn it over in this game. If they turn it over, I think they're screwed. I love the Texans plus the 3. Love the Texans plus the 3 in the spot here. I think the Texans go and win this game. I think CJ Stroud is getting better and better every week leading into this. I think all the pressure is on the Patriots. I think their coaching is probably maybe a little bit of advantage to the Patriots here. I just don't get the line where Texans beat the Chargers 2-3 weeks ago. Texans were a pick 'em in LA. So let's say on a neutral, Texans are favored in that game by like -2. Now you're giving me the same line that the Patriots just had against the Chargers last week. Texans, I get it, they're 1 day less rest, but what, and you're accounting for the fly there as well? I just don't quite get it. So I've actually got 2 best bets in this game. 2 of them. Texans plus the 3. Then we're going to go the first half under 20.5. Why the first half under 20.5? Well, Texans this season, 9 games on the road. They are 8-1 to the first half under. In the last 6, they are 6-0. Going for 7 in a row, going for 9-1 this season, and first half unders on the road, which shows that defense steps up, which means they probably actually struggle to move the ball on the road as well. But mainly their defense as well. You look at the Patriots-Chargers game last week. I forget what the score was. It 6-3 at halftime or something like that? 9-3, I think. Easily goes under. You look at the Texans-Steelers game last week. I forget I think it was 7-6 at halftime there as well. Both go under there. Love the first half under 20.5. I think Patriots are going to struggle to score points. I think Texans are probably going to struggle to score points as well. Just trying to get used to the crowd noise, that sort of thing. Love the first half under 20.5. Combine it with Texans plus 3. There's 2 best bets in this divisional matchup there. All right, let's cross over to the last one here. I do have another best bet. So I've got 4 best bets to go across 4 divisional games, or across 3, I guess. Rams at the Bears, Monday morning here, 9 a.m. And Rams coming off a bit of a scare last week against my Carolina Panthers. Bears coming off that massive comeback win against the Packers, 21-3 down at halftime, and come back and get the win. All thanks, I guess, a game-winning drive to Caleb Williams and an absolute choke by Matt LaFleur in that game there. Rams are now a 3.5-point favorite on the road, total of 48.5. What I will say, there's been a tiny bit of Bears money, which I did expect. Rams are open -4. Total is 51.5 opening. This under has been slammed. A bit of weather relation to that one there as well. Picking it will be snowing or windy there as well. And cold. So we're seeing a ton of under money. We've seen a bit of Bears money. Now, I think the Rams win this game. However, going by what the Bears have done this season, with all their comeback wins, I think it's 7 comeback wins now in the last quarter. I just can't get there with the -3.5 with the Rams. They could win by 3 or less. I get that. But with the way the Bears are coming back, this just has some backdoor bullshit all over it. All over it. And I just can't be in a position where I back the Rams in the full game. I'm going to look at the first half. I think Rams go out to a hot start, similar to what they did last week against Carolina, 14-0 up. Yes, I get it. They let Carolina back in the game. They were 14-10 up at halftime. I think Rams will be really focused. I think Bears, you look at how they struggled in the first half, down 21-3 last week in the home playoff game. What's to say the similar thing doesn't happen? I really am close to getting on the Rams in the full game, but I just have more confidence in the first half. Just win it by 3 so they can cover that hook by a field goal, win it 10-7, win it 7-3, win it 7-0, win it 14-7. I don't care. Just cover the 2.5. I think the Rams will be really, really focused out the gate in this one here. And you're coming up a different kind of team here. The Bears, it was their first playoff game at home in quite a long time. Kayla's first playoff game, and they've just won it pretty much at the buzzer there. Very, very emotional win for the Bears, getting their first playoff win in, 14, 15 years or something absurd like that there, against a division rival nonetheless. Rams had a bit of a scare last week. They were 10-point favorites. They were expected to win quite big, and they only won by 3. And I think Sean McVay, I really like Sean McVay. I really like Ben Johnson as well. I think Ben Johnson is a good coach. But if I'm looking at this game, I think the Rams have the advantage here at quarterback. I think they have the better receivers, easily with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. I think they have the better defense as well. I completely agree to why they're 3.5-point favorites in this one here. On a neutral, you're probably looking at a 5.5-point favorite here in this one. I just want Rams to cover the first half, and then I don't care what happens for the rest of that. They could have a 10-point lead. I don't have to stress about these Bears coming back again. Although I think the Rams win this one, I just don't want to have that stress where even as there's 5 minutes left to go and the Bears are down 10, I don't want to have to stress about Caleb Williams going down and scoring a junkyard touchdown to even lose by 3. I just don't want to have that. I just rather bet the Rams in the first half. I'm very, very confident in this one here. I think Stafford will absolutely spam Puka Nacua again. I think Devontae will get more involved in this game again. I think they'll get the run game more going again. This Bears defense, I don't think it's that crash hot. Jordan Love was absolutely dealing everywhere against them last week. Literally put up 3 touchdowns in that first half against them. I can see Matthew Stafford, if he's looking healthy, doing the same again against the Bears. Give me the Rams first half, -2.5. All right, there's your 4 best bets for your divisional weekend. Let's touch into some player props. I've got one for you in each playoff game here. So the first one, we've got a couple interesting ones to start with. First one I want to start with is Josh Allen over 8.5 rush attempts. He went over this last week, I'm pretty sure, and now in these last sort of 10 playoff games, he's gone over this number in 8 games. What this tells me is Josh Allen likes to have the ball in his hands. They trust Josh Allen with the ball. They don't want to run the ball as much. If he doesn't like what he's seeing in the receiving core, he will just run it. And I think Sean McDermott wants the ball to be in Josh Allen's hands as much as possible. You've got the tush push now, which they're starting to do more and more. You've even got the potential, if they're winning the game at the end, you've got a couple kneels as well, which do count as rush attempts. I think he goes well over this number. I think Josh Allen will want to, instead of going against this Denver defense, going against Patrick Surtain, will want to run the ball. I think he will want to scramble a lot. As I said, you've got the tush push, you've got QB sneaks there. Plenty of options there. Josh Allen over 8.5 rush attempts. Second one, we're going the same sort of bet. We're going Zach Charbonnet over 12.5 rush attempts. Honestly, him and Kenny Walker are getting a 50-50 split at the moment. 2 weeks ago against the Niners, he went for 18 runs. A week before that, against the Panthers, he went for about 17 runs. Week before that, he went about 11, but he's just starting to ramp it up. And what that tells me with what Mike McDonald wants to do, he wants to ramp up the run game. I was very torn between Charbonnet or Walker. You could honestly go either one. I think they both go over. I was looking at their team total rush prop. I think it was over 29.5 or 30.5. I think Seattle, if they establish a run game, they want to run it a lot. I think the only way this goes under is if they're behind quite a bit in this game. If they have a lead, though, they'll take the ball out of Sam Darnold's hands and just run. Third one here, Drake May under 220.5 pass yards. No surprises here, going with the Texans defense. Once again, this cash last week with Rodgers unders. He went well under. I think he finished on 140 or something. The big key number in this Texans pass defense is definitely 225. I think 3 guys this season so far have gone over that 225 mark. I get it. We're so close to that 225. We're at 220. I think the same deal. They just want to try and establish a run game. If they get to a lead, the Patriots, they'll just want to not put the ball as much in May's hands. This Texans defense is brutal. I think just stay under that 220.5. I think they'll try and run it a bit with Ramondre and Trayvon Henderson. Drake May under 220.5 pass yards. Fourth one here, pretty much going back to the well, same as last week. Stafford over 265.5 pass yards. Won on this last week against the Panthers with a very, very similar number. I just thought they want to put the ball in Stafford's hands here, against that Carolina defense. Not do too much of the run game here. I think you're looking at a very similar defense as Carolina as you are with Chicago. I think you're looking at the MVP here. Even though Stafford had an injured hand halfway through that game, he still went over 300 yards in this game here. You've got to put the ball in your best player on the field's hands, and that is Matthew Stafford in this game here. And I think if they just score a bit here. I think this game, I think the Rams will be able to score in this game. I don't see how this goes under unless they have a massive, massive lead and they decide to bring him off and start running the ball. Stafford over 265.5 pass yards. All right, there's your 4 player props for the week. Let's head into our 2 multis for the week. And last week, absolute pain. We did 6 legs, 1 leg from each game. And the only loser from cashing an 80-1 parlay was the Jags on the money line. And I was tossing up between Jags money line or I had ETN overs as a prop. Jags lose by 3, ETN goes over his prop. If we swap that, we win, baby, at very similar odds, which is an absolute kick in the dick. But it's all good. We got 5 out of 6. I'm back here. Obviously, we've got 4 games, but I'm going to do 5 legs here. So there are 2 legs in the same game here. Multi for the week, we're going to go Josh Allen, 10+ rushing attempts. We're going to go Zach Charbonnet, 15+ rush attempts. We're going to go Drake May, under 220.5 pass yards. And the same game, we're going to go under 20.5 first half of the Texans and Patriots. Stafford, 275+ pass yards. This pays $56. $10 pays $560, baby. Let's do it. Honestly, we're kind of due for another one. We were so bloody close last week. So bloody close. I was absolutely kicking myself when Rodgers went way under that number to finish off the multi. Finish it off. Let's do the Hail Mary. So all season I've been doing 2+ touchdown parlay, which is bloody hard when it gets to the playoffs, right? You don't really see it too often, a bloke getting 2+ touchdowns, let alone 3 of them in the same weekend. However, you're definitely going to see generally the first touchdown. Last week we hit... what did we hit last week? I forgot the game now. We hit 1 out of 3 legs there. We're going to go 3 guys this week. We're going to go Bo Nix. We're going to go Zach Charbonnet. And we're going to go Puka Nacua. Pays $741. $10 pays $7,410, baby. Let's bloody go. 3 guys, Bo Nix, Charbonnet, Puka Nacua. Let's bloody do it. Let's do a recap of the Redzone Report for your divisional weekend. Starting with 4 best bets, we've got Seattle team total under 27.5. In the same game, we've got Texans +3 in the first half under 20.5 here. And to finish it off, we've got the Rams first half -2.5. Our player props for the week, we've got Josh Allen over 8.5 rush attempts. We've got Zach Charbonnet over 12.5 rush attempts. We've got Drake May under 220.5 pass yards. And we've got Matthew Stafford over 265.5 pass yards. Our multi for the week, we've got Josh Allen, 10+ rush attempts. We've got Zach Charbonnet, 15+ rush attempts. We've got Drake May under 220.5 pass yards. We've got the first half under 20.5 Texans and Patriots. We got Stafford to go 275+ pass yards, pays $56. $10 pays $560. And our Hail Mary for the week, 3 guys to score the first touchdown. We have got Bo Nix, we've got Zach Charbonnet, and we've got Puka Nacua, pays $741. $10 returns $7,410, baby. That will do it for the third last week of the Redzone Report, the divisional weekend. We've got, as I said, 7 more games to go. My heart absolutely breaks. We're down to 7 games. 4 of those happening this weekend. 4 absolute cracking matchups. So I cannot wait to watch these ones. Remember, if you like the content, remember to go give it a massive like and subscribe to the channel. Follow all my socials in the bio, in the comment section, or at Squishy Sports as well. Thank you so much for watching, and cheers.